Hello, and welcome back to the M&M Experience. I'm Melody,
And I'm Marilyn.
and on today's episode, we're going to be doing something a little different. Our previous episodes, we've kind of integrated our personal experiences
hmm
on different topics. And so on today's episode, we wanted to just kind of look outside of ourselves and discuss a current event, a current
Yeah.
that's happening in our world,
hmm
something that might impact everyone, and that everyone could relate to in some form or fashion. And so on today's episode, we want to talk about the Buddhist pilgrimage, the Walk of Peace.
Yes.
And so, thank you, Sissy, for suggesting this as a as a topic to discuss. Because and when she told me about it, and I looked up the article,
Yeah.
um, I was really I was really taken aback by it. I honestly did not know it was happening. I'll be honest. In complete transparency, I'm not a news person, but I love the fact that there's something positive and something good in the
Absolutely.
news.
Yeah.
So we're going to take that and hold on to that.
hmm
And so, do you want to talk a little bit about what the
Sure.
pilgrimage is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So there are about 19 Buddhist monks who started a pilgrimage from Fort Worth, Texas. And they're going to end up in DC. 2,300 miles
Walking on
is
foot.
on foot. They're
Yeah.
walking on foot. And I want to read. We read a couple of articles and watched a couple of
Video
videos.
clips.
And one of the articles that we read about the pilgrimage is the monks are clear to say that this is not a protest or political march, but instead they describe their mission as a spiritual effort to awaken the peace that already lives within each of us. So I think that is really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That they want to make sure that they put that message out there as to the why behind this 2,300-mile pilgrimage.
Wow.
And they will be going through several cities they'll be going through
States.
our city
Yeah.
in South Carolina. They'll be going through several states
Yeah.
between now and the time that they actually end their pilgrimage. I believe they're scheduled to wrap up February. Did I write down that date? I didn't write down the date. Sometime in February
Yeah.
is
But
when.
they're and it started on October the 26th.
Mm-hmm.
And so these monks have been walking on foot since then,
Mm-hmm.
through various cities, various states, and they're scheduled to be in our area, the Rock Hill Fort Mill area, January 1st through, what is it?
January the 10th through the 20th.
January 10th, excuse me, through the
Yes.
20th. And so thought it was interesting that something of this magnitude would actually get this close to us
Yep.
in our area. And so we just kind of wanted to talk about for those of us that have beliefs, and again, these are Buddhist monks, and so I don't want to underplay the fact that these monks are of the Buddhist religion,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so never would want to discount their beliefs, their values. And
Right.
so I did take just a few minutes to look up some of the core values for Buddhism. And so they believe, and for those of you who might not be familiar, they believe in karma. Okay. So they believe that your actions have consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And some of us, who are not believing Buddhists,
I absolutely
believe in karma, right?
Yeah.
Believe that good deeds lead to happiness and bad deeds end in suffering.
Yep.
Okay, so that is pretty much what karma means. They also believe, and this is not an all-inclusive overview of Buddhism,
Right.
but wanted to just touch on some of the things they do believe, which can speak to why they are wanting to do or have done such a radical display of the peace that they're seeking for themselves and for others. They believe in nirvana, where there's an ultimate goal of being in a state of liberation, peace, and freedom, okay, within themselves. They do not believe in a supreme God, okay? They don't worship a supreme deity. And so enlightenment to them is achieved through personal effort. So whatever that looks like for them individually, right? So, and they also focus on meditation, mindfulness as well. So those are just a couple of elements of Buddhism that I wanted to just share as we're talking about this great display of their act of solidarity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so, you know, it gets us to thinking about there are people that stand on their beliefs so hard,
Yep.
right? And this is truly an example of that.
Yep.
When we say talking about standing 10 toes down, as we say in our world,
Mm-hmm.
this is absolutely, to me, an example of standing 10 toes down in what you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And so, wanted to just ask, what does solidarity mean to you, Sissy? Like, when you hear that word solidarity, what does that mean to you?
I think it means the first word that comes to mind is alignment.
Mm-hmm.
Alignment, connectedness,
Yeah.
Cooperation. So that's what I think about when I hear the word solidarity and
Mm-hmm.
people rallying for cause towards
Absolutely.
the same cause.
Right. Having the same, absolutely. So they're standing in unity
In unity.
together.
Mm-hmm.
And so it makes me think about what are some ways that we do that in our own lives,
Mm-hmm.
right? How do we stand unified as a unified front when certain things come against us?
Right.
Or that we just want to just stand in support of. It doesn't
Right.
have to be any type of adversity, right? It could literally just be us wanting to show up and support something in that space. And so I agree with your definition of solidarity.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. This is, like I said, an awesome expression of that. So how could we do that in our regular lives, right? In our regular daily lives, how could we show up, obviously maybe not as in such a way as this.
Correct. Yeah. Not.
Because I'm still speechless by this act of peace.
Yep.
That these monks are doing for others,
Right.
Not just for them, it's for others to see. So how can we show up for others or for ourselves, like in a more unified way, in a more solid approach, right?
Well, I have a couple of thoughts. Let me. Well, first I want to. Well, let me answer the question first, and then I'll pivot.
Thank you.
And I do want to say I actually did write down the date. The pilgrimage will end on February the 16th.
Okay.
And they will be walking through 10 states.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Walking
Through 10 states, sun up to sundown.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think the best place to start is with yourself. So when I use the word alignment, so personally, I think in order to, whether it's rallying behind a cause as large as this one or any other type of cause, I think you yourself have to be in alignment. And when I say that, I mean physically, mentally, emotionally, because in order to walk across 10 different states,
10.
Okay, 10. And I can't even imagine the preparation that went into this trek. And we're not sure if this is something that they've done before. We didn't go into the history. I saw it on the news, right. and so I've kind of been following it from there. But the amount of, and not only the preparation, but the support.
Right.
So in every city, if I'm not mistaken, every city that they walk through, there's people that's standing by, supporting them, cheering them on.
Right.
They're providing meals.
Yes.
Water. They're offering water. They're offering supplies to help them get through this pilgrimage.
Right.
So when we're talking about solidarity in this case, it's talking about the Walk for Peace, it's the monks, and then it's also the larger community,
right,
that is in every city, in every state, right, that they're touching. And I also saw that in some of these cities, they're holding like peace rallies, or they're actually interacting with the people in that community.
Yes.
So I can only imagine. And I saw a couple of the monks doing acts of kindness and praying over people and just doing what monks do, right? So I think for me, it's the alignment within myself.
Absolutely.
Because if I'm not aligned in those three ways, I can't really take on a lot effectively. I could try, but I think starting with self and then getting to that point where you connect yourself with other people to actually rally around or support a cause. So I don't want to dismiss the monks are the ones that's doing the pilgrimage.
Absolutely.
But I'm not sure how successful they would be or how encouraged they would stay.
Right.
If the community didn't rally around them.
Absolutely.
And I have read that they have had a couple of run-ins of not so positive that where they weren't really welcomed in some cities. I think there was an accident where two of the monks were hit.
Yeah. There was a leg amputation.
Yeah.
One of them unfortunately had to. One of the monks got hit by a truck.
Yep.
I can't remember what state it was.
I can't either.
But that resulted in a leg amputation. So they have had absolutely some challenges on this trek of peace.
Yeah.
And so,
but yet they still press on.
And yet they
didn't turn back.
They did not turn back.
Many of us would have just called it quits. But that is how solid they are in their faith. To me, I'm impressed by the fact that, and I think you mentioned earlier that some of the monks are walking barefoot.
They are walking, yes.
So
they are walking barefoot. They are asking for those of us who want to show up when they come through our respective towns. That's one of the things that they are asking, or that is being asked. They are not asking.
Right.
As we are hearing about this awesome pilgrimage, those of us who can show up, there's requests for certain things, and like Marilyn said, food, rice, bread, water, obviously, and then they're asking for some, there's some healthcare personnel that can come and help wrap the feet of those who are walking barefoot. And so things like that is how we can help those that are in this pilgrimage doing such an act of faith and an act of peace.
Yeah.
And so, again, those dates that we shared, there's coming to our time. So those of you who are aware of this pilgrimage, please check it out. I know that there's a live, like they're following them live. There's a Facebook.
There's a Facebook page where you can follow
where you can follow the pilgrimage live and kind of see where they're going to be. And
there's a map. They have a map as well.
We would encourage you, if it hits your heart, to show up in your respective capital, your towns, and maybe supply some of the things that they might need, because you were, when you were talking about the foundational, like the 24 monks, or is it how many?
19.
I think they started with 24.
They started with 24
because there was an article I read. I saw the number 24. So, and again, there were a couple accidents, and so to your point, I love how you brought out the word alignment.
Alignment.
I
think that's my word for the
standing in solidarity or in unification to support anything. If you are not aligned within yourself,
no.
And so in my world, we call it, or we talk about, which goes with alignment, completing a values assessment for yourself, and really going back to your own beliefs and value system, and seeing what have you been standing on all of these years. And if, your faith or whatever you believe in, is it something that would absolutely, or that would cause you to be as grounded enough as these monks are to do such a public display of their faith and of their mission.
Right.
So we call it a values assessment. Absolutely, we do. What are the things you believe? And if you're believing something and there's no action of that belief,
correct,
then is it really a belief?
Right.
And so, just food for thought. A lot of us are out here believing things, but if there's no action that supports that belief,
right,
is it really a value?
That's a good question.
Is it really something that you value?
That's a good question. And I want to go back and clarify something. We were talking about, as they're walking through these cities, how people can make donations, or whether it's monetary or food or supplies. The monks themselves, it has to be an offering to the monk. So the monks themselves are not going to ask, right? But there has to be an offering to the monk. But you're right. The Facebook page will, it tells you where they're headed. And then you can follow their trek, their journey, leading to Washington, D.C. And I want to go back to something you just said, Sissy. I think you just said, if it's a belief with no action,
right?
Is it really? So
do you value it?
Yeah. So I want to ask you a question.
Oh no.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you think people's values can change throughout their lives? Or do you think once you
Absolutely.
have values that
Your belief, your value. So here's the thing, Sissy. That's an excellent question.
isn't a great question?
The things that you value can change, right? So, but if there's a belief, and I'm talking more so about foundational
Yeah.
beliefs, well, those can change too,
Yeah.
right? Honestly, you could believe in God one day and not the next, based on what's happened in your own life. So yes,
Yes.
it can change. But my point was that if you believe in something, there should always be some type of outward behavior that expresses to other people or illustrates to other people that you believe in it,
Right.
right? Because a belief without action is what? I mean, it's a belief, but no one knows that you believe it,
Correct.
right? So, yeah, values and beliefs can change.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, I'm just so impressed, outwardly impressed. And this is a type of missionary that
Mhm.
these monks are doing.
Mhm.
Not to discount any other type of missionary work that is being done in other
Right.
religious communities. Please don't think that that's what we're doing here. I've been on a missionary trip, thank God.
Yes, you did. Venezuela.
Yes, I have.
I remember
And so,
that.
and I am not a Buddhist. I am of the Christian faith. And so there are all different types of missionary things that we can
Right.
do, but theirs is more specific for peace, right?
Yes.
And that is what we are focusing on today. And so we just wanted to bring this awareness for those that might not know,
Mhm.
and just talk about how committed you have to be to do something like this, at this level of faith.
Yes.
And I aspire to it. I aspire to do something of, it's almost, it's not, probably for them it's not. I don't want to use the wrong
Right.
words to
Yeah.
describe it, because I don't want to discount anything in their faith and their culture.
Right.
But I love to see it. I love to see it. So how can we? Oh, go ahead.
Go. Go. No, go ahead.
So how can we, right? If we aspire to be um, as committed and as unified as these monks, what are some things that we can do in our own lives on a regular basis, like even if it's outside of faith,
Yeah.
right? To make us more supportive human beings and more peace acclimated, if you will.
Right. I think two of the words in reading the articles and learning a little bit about their faith, the monks' faith, I saw was unity and harmony. So I think anything we can do to move towards those two states, if you will. We we talked about service and giving of yourself, of your time, your talents, for bigger causes or causes that are bigger than yourself. That's definitely one way.
Right.
It's not the only way, but it's
Right.
probably because so many things fall under that umbrella.
Right.
Right. So some people can support causes or be in solidarity about a cause by writing a check. And if that's your way, then that's your way.
Hey.
Because all of the major foundations and at the national level need money. They need
run.
resources to run,
Absolutely,
right?
they do, yeah.
And all of the research institutes and all of the so we're not going to discount, writing the checks.
Right.
But for me personally, is to your point, the act. I have to do something beyond writing a check, beyond making a donation, and I have to kind of pull somebody along. So I think that's where all of this kind of ties into for me.
I love that. And to piggyback off of that, it starts with, that is the outward expression, right? It starts with a couple words that you said yesterday during our brainstorming session. You talked about introspection and reflection, right? If we are not doing some element of that, think about the amount of introspection and reflection that these monks had to do before they decided to go on this pilgrimage, right? We don't know.
No.
Yeah. But we have to start inward.
Yep.
Because we have to at first want to desire to do something that will serve someone else other than ourselves.
Yep.
And so in this world of busyness and chaos, I think that we are probably all a little guilty of not taking enough time for reflection, looking backward, introspection, looking inward to see really what it is that moves us, that drives us, to make us want to be better, not just for ourselves, but for the greater good.
For the greater good.
Right. And that's a whole concept that we talk about in our world. And that word is so hard to pronounce. I'm not going to mess it up on live TV. It starts with a U. If my students ever saw this, they'd be like, Miss Sumter, you ain't got that word right yet. I have not. Okay. I write it on the board. Utilitarianism. I have to sound it out, girl. It's a long word. It's called utilitarianism. That is the principle, the ethical principle of doing what's best for the greater good. So, love that, it is all throughout what the monks are doing.
Yeah.
And
I think as we start off this new year, many of us are going to go into a space of reflection, to look back and what the previous year looked like, and then to also look ahead to see how can the things that we experienced in the previous year serve us or make us better for this current year.
Right.
So I think this walk for pilgrimage, I don't know if I can think of another act that is so selfless and so I mean, they are truly want to spread peace among the world and among our nation. And I think, and they are doing it. They're not just talking about it. They are actually doing something. Right. So I'm blown away. I'm going to continue to follow them on their Facebook page. Yeah. And when they come through our city, hopefully I'll be able to witness that and to see how I can support them when they come through. But yeah, we just wanted to share a little bit about what was going on currently in the world. That
one thing.
Yes, one thing.
This is our one thing.
That is actually going to impact us here locally. Yeah. And so we encourage you, if you haven't heard about it, to look it up, Walk for Peace. There's articles, there's videos. I'm pretty sure if it's
from
going
each state that they've been in.
Yes,
the news anchors are there bringing them along with the people of the town, and so it's really been something to see, to watch. And so now that I do know about it, I'm absolutely going to follow. And I really do hope that we're able to catch them when they're, or at least to come out and support when they are in our Rock Hill and Fort Mill area later this month. And so,
and if we cannot, then we can always send our prayers to cover them and their safety as they continue their journey towards DC. So we want to put that out there as well.
Absolutely. So I think that is a great way to kind of wrap up this session.
Yeah.
As again, these Buddhist monks are serving as such an example of what it looks like to stand in solidarity for a cause and mutual support. We just want you all to use them as an example as to what, how strong you can be as a unit, but then also take some time, as it is 2026, a new year, to stop and kind of process, do that introspection and that reflection, and to see really, what are your causes, what are your values, what are your beliefs, and how are you going to bring them forward in 2026? What does that look like for you? We're getting older in this season. Losing daylight, as our other sister says. So it really is a time for us to be able to put the things that we value and believe into action.
Yes.
Right? And so,
and I think starting with peace, asking yourself, how do you awaken the peace within you?
Yeah.
Right.
Excellent question.
I think starting there will be good for us. So yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Imminent Experience.
Yes. So until next time.
Next time. Bye-bye.